There's some people out here that give anything to have the opportunity to come this way and hear the gospel. They are people that hunt for the truth. And the Bible said the gospel be hid to them that lost. Honey, if the gospel being hid, it's because we are hiding the gospel. Because we ain't getting doing what God called us to do. If you turn over Mac food, the Queen ate sap. And at the end of sap, it talked about that. Go into all nations and preach the gospel. Honey, today people don't believe that. Us and God people that got the truth, but we don't want to go. You know, there's a song in the old green song book, page 42. It talks about, in my house is full. Honey, let me tell you something. Us and God people, we want to sit around God's table and eat, but we don't want to work for Him no more. We want to see people get saved, but we don't want to get out and preach the gospel. We ought to see people do good, but we don't want to do our part. We want somebody else to do it. And let me tell you something tonight. If you have, or you listen to us on the internet, honey, if you've been saved by the grace of God, God got a job for you. Everybody ain't a preacher. Everybody ain't called to do the same thing. But God got a purpose for each and every one of y'all. I told some of us Sunday morning, 52 years ago Sunday morning, I probably one of the sorry person in the world. Had everything on my man but God. But honey, 52 years ago Sunday night, God saved my soul. Honey, I've been different ever since then. Yeah, it makes a difference. If you've been saved, if you truly been saved by the grace of God, you got something on the inside that you can feel, that you know about, and you ain't got to ask nobody else about it. You know, I for you today, a whole lot of so-called preachers out there are deceiving people. They are telling you that you got to be baptized. You got to do good work. You got to donate money. You got to live good. And all that be okay. But that ain't got nothing to do with salvation. Honey, salvation between you and God. And you feel that you're lost if you got an empty place. And we're hot today. Honey, you trying to feel that everything in this world. There ain't but one thing that's going to fill that up for you and be there forever and take care of it, and that is salvation. That is the love of God. You know, God sent His only begotten Son to hang on the cross that you could be saved. And honey, there's some people out here that die and go a wherever day. And here we are sitting at the table, God's table. We are blessed. God has blessed us so much that we take it for granted. We are not thankful for the thing that God give us no more. But we are to be thankful for everything that we got. And you say, well, preacher, you ain't got much. Honey, I ain't got much, but I got everything I need. Honey, I got a king of the king today, but take care of all things. Honey, He know everything about me. He know I'm going to need tomorrow. He know I need today, and He able to take care of it. He know about you. There may be something by here tonight. If you off, this always open. If God not on your heart, that's the time for you to go and call up on God. Honey, at night is the time of salvation. You know, the Bible teaches today a day of salvation. But at night, the appointed time, if God knocked on your heart, that's the time you need to call up on. And that go for you at that ain't never heard of this. You may hear that you need to join a set. You may hear that you need to shake the hand of the preacher. You may hear that you need to repeat their prayer. You may hear that you need to live good, but honey, that ain't salvation. Now, let me tell you what Jesus said about it. If I can, and I'll pray for me today. Honey, I need God's help. Honey, I can't do nothing on my own. Ain't never been able to do nothing. I won't never be able to do nothing. And don't want to do nothing on my own. I want God begin. You know, I didn't give you my name. Because it don't make a difference if you know who I am. You need to know Jesus Christ. You need to know who Jesus Christ is. You need to meet a contact person to him. And how do you do that? You repent, call up on him, and ask him to come into your heart. You ask him to save your soul, and you can be saved. Now, you see all this on TV. You may go someplace and they may tell you all about the stuff that you need to do to be saved. Let me tell you what Jesus said about being saved. I don't know, I'll read this. I'm trying to read this. If you turn over John, the book of John, the first chapter, it said a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. The same came by Jesus at night, and said unto him, Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher come from God. For no man can do the work that thou doest, except God be with him. Jesus answered and said unto him, Very, very, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot enter into the kingdom of God. What did Jesus say? Now this is the only begotten Son of God. Nicodemus went to him in the night time. Now I believe he done that because he didn't want nobody to know that he was going to him. Let me tell you something. Did Jesus say you got to be baptized? No. Did Jesus say you had to repeat the prayer of me? No. Did Jesus say you had to join this organization, some kind of church to be saved? No. He said you must be born again. Hey, let me tell you something. I preached about being saved ever since I've been preaching. But let me tell you something. We need to be preaching about being born again. That's what salvation is. You're born to God's family. And you say, how can I be born again? That's what Nicodemus want to know. And Jesus told me that you have to be born of the fruit. Not only you have to be born of God. And how do you get born of God? Let me tell you, if you turn over to your figure, the serpent, the 8th verse, it said, by grace are you saved through faith, and that not was said, but the gift of God. I want you to understand that Jesus, the only begotten Son of God, told Nicodemus, you had to be born again. How can you get born? You had to believe that Jesus is the only begotten Son of God. You had to believe that he came and hung on the cross and put in the tomb. And 3 days he came out of that tomb. Let me tell you something, ain't nobody else able to, or your wife dying and take it back up. How come Jesus able to do that? Because he is the only begotten Son of God. Because he part of God. He is God made in flesh. He came down here. You know, you turn over the first book of John. It talk about there wasn't nothing made that wasn't made by him. Let me tell you something you understand today. I don't care what you got or what you ain't got. Honey, you can't be too good and you can't be too bad to be saved today. You know, we got a whole lot of people today that think because they done so many things that they can't be saved. Let me tell you that to who Jesus came and hung the cross for. It is sir. You know, a whole lot of people today that think that they ain't got to ask God for nothing and they don't need nothing. Honey, they the one that need God more than anybody else. how easy for me to talk to a man that done everything and been a son and been into everything. How easy me talk to him because he knows that he ain't good. Honey, today we think we too good to call up on God. Even some of God's people today think they too good to bow down and call up on God. Honey, let me tell you something. I talk about this mowing banks. Honey, that's a good place for a lost person to come and call up on God. Honey, that's a good place for us, the God people, to come and call up on God. Honey, let me tell you, every day I need to ask God to forgive me for my sin. Honey, so because I've been saved, and so because you get saved. That don't mean that everything's going to be perfect. Honey, you're going to have trouble. You're going to have trouble on every hand. If you start inclined to serve God, you'll find out that the people that you thought would be for you to again. But let me tell you something. Honey, we need to serve God. We need to follow God. Honey, I ain't telling you to do nothing on your own. But I will tell you today, if God not you been saved by the grace of God, He not on your heart to testify, you need to testify. If He not on your heart to go and talk to somebody, you need to go and talk to Him. And I want you to understand that. But if you ain't been saved, I want you to understand. Jesus did not say you had to be baptized. He did not say you had real good enough. He did not say you had to donate more. He said you had to be born again. Let me tell you, I want to get this verse. This keeps coming in my head. And I don't know how it come, but I'll read this. The 17th verse over in the first chapter, it said, for God sent not His Son into the world to condemn him, but that the world through him might be saved. He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. Let me tell you, you may believe in Jesus and we're here. But there's a difference between believing Jesus in your head than knowing Jesus in your heart. Honey, you have to believe from the soul. You have to be able. Honey, let me just tell you about my salvation. Honey, I've heard the gospel preached all my life. But I got to be a teenager and got doing things that a man don't need to do. And honey, I done some bad things. And I thank God that He loved me enough that He know all about me. And honey, I got to the part that I realized that I'm going to die and go to a devil hole if I didn't get saved by the grace of God. And I'm going to tell you today, and you may not have heard this, but if you don't get saved by the grace of God, if you ain't born into God's family, you're going to die and go to hell. It said that all nations that forget God are going to be cast into the lake of fire. Also all the people that ain't been saved. Honey, you're going to be cast into the lake of fire. There ain't nothing good about it. And you may think, well, it'll be okay. Me and my friend will be there. Honey, you ain't going to have no friend there. Honey, I had to tell you, God, you're going to be there by yourself. Now, honey, you're going to be calling up on God, but the door of mercy is always going to be closed. Today is the day of salvation. I don't know who I talk to. It may not be nobody listening to me. But it don't make no difference. I still got to do my part. And I don't need to worry about what good to do for me to do my part. Because God take care of that. Honey, we do the other thing and God give the increase. God the only one that can save the lost. Honey, He the only one that can die with me to where you have for me to go. But I have to be willing to follow Him. Now let me get back to you about my salvation. Honey, I got in trouble in my heart. I know that I lost and separated from God. I know that I'm going to die and go to hell. Honey, I try to do everything I know to do. And that's what you will have to do. Probably you're required to do everything you know. But you'll get to a point that everything you do ain't going to map to a being. But let me tell you something, you get to the point that you say, God, here I am. However it takes, I need to be saved. You may not have to say that, but I did. I got to the point, I don't know did I say that, why not, but God knows. However it takes, I want to be saved more than anything else. Honey, I told him if I had to, I would go to the mobile banks. And I thought I would have to. But I didn't, because he saved my soul right then. And I got to the point that I put everything in the hand of God. He saved my soul. You know, I should think about it. Honey, today, after I've been saved for 52 years, honey, if I get to the point that I put everything in the hand of God, He'll take care of it. He might not take care of it the way I want him to, but He'll take care of it the way that it needs to be. Sometimes we wonder how come all this happened to us. And we get feeling sorry for ourselves. But honey, we ought to be thankful that we know that we got a better home to go to. Do you have a better home to go to when you die? Do you know for sure that when you die, you're going to go to heaven and be with God? Or are you going to be cast off into the lake of fire? Honey, that's a good question to ask yourself. You ain't got to answer me, because honey, what you tell me don't all different. Honey, you need to answer that to yourself. And you can't hide behind nothing to God, because God knows all about it. So you need to be honest with yourself. Honey, that's what God wants you to be honest. You know, He made man out of dust. You turn over to the first book of the Bible, it talks about that God took the dust and He made man, and then He buried into it in the nostril, and he became a living soul. Honey, that soul going to live somewhere forever and forever. That body that God took and made a body out of dust, according to my Bible, it's going to return to the dust someday. That soul going to return to God. I had an old preacher boy, and he said that he always said, if you turn over to Ecclesiastes, I think it is, over the prayer chapter it talked about, it said the fruit returned to God who gave it. And my old preacher boy saying God done what He saw fit to do with it. Think about that. What did God do with your soul when it returned to Him? He's going to do what He fit. If it been born again to God's family, He's going to say, come on home, my son. But if you ain't never been saved and never been born to God's family, He's going to say, depart from me, for I never know you. Honey, I hate to know that God say, depart from me, I never know you. And let me tell you, so I don't get that part too, how I am. Honey, He didn't say, I know you one time and forgot about you. Let me tell you something. Once you get saved, you're saved forever. Honey, I want you to know that. It said that you see up our back. Honey, God, the one that keeps with salvation. You ain't the keeper of it. Honey, I can't keep it. There ain't no way I can keep them, but God can. Because God, the one that gave it to them. Honey, did God know all about you today, and He know about every trouble you're going through? He know everything about you. You may not have never heard enough at this preached before. You may be sitting in a hotel room somewhere, and you may be trying to grind this out by some kind of dope or alcohol or something, because you're trying to fill that empty place. Let me tell you something. Put the dope to one side, put the alcohol to the other side. Get down your knee and call up on God for salvation. Honey, He can fill that up. He can give you peace that you don't even know about. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you what kind of peace this is. Honey, I can tell you what now, I had a whole lot of trouble. Honey, I'm 70-year-old. And honey, I don't know, I may die before I get home tonight. But let me tell you something, if I do, I'm going to a body place. Not because of nothing I done, not because I shut some preacher's hand, not because I repeat some part, not because I've been baptized, but because I've been saved by the grace of God. Because God saw fit to convict my heart. Let me tell you something, if you at that today and you've been saved, honey, you better be thankful that somebody preached the gospel to you. Honey, somebody bought this old time warrior down to you. And honey, let me tell you, we need to keep on going. We need to see that the gospel go out. And honey, we need to go to all nations. Honey, let me tell you, one time I thought, boy, what do we do with people that got the truth? Honey, I believe people been saved all over the place. Honey, I talked to some people tell me about being saved. And honey, it's amazing to me. They got the same thing I got. If you got salvation, we all got the same thing. If you ain't, you ain't got nothing. Honey, everything that we got, God gave it to us. Honey, He got a purpose for all things. And you say, well, how come I have such a hard time? It may be to teach you to really depend upon God. Honey, let me tell you something. We need to learn to depend upon God. You know, I remember I grew up, and you say, what this got to do with anything? Honey, I remember I grew up, we poor, didn't have nothing, we were on somebody else's farm. Honey, I tell you what, we might not have nothing. But honey, my mama and daddy know how to get something if we need it. Honey, we got sick, they didn't take us to the hospital. They didn't call the doctor every time we got a place on our hand or something. Honey, they get down on their knee and talk to God about it. Honey, let me tell you something, they depend on God to take care of everything. Honey, they depend upon God to give us the food that they have. And let me tell you something, today we think we don't need God. But we need God more today than we ever need Him before. Honey, we still don't know how bad we do need Him. You know, you should think about it, honey. Honey, I tell you what, we got all kind of bum and all kind of stuff. Honey, they could wipe this whole half of the nation out if they don't do it at one time. Honey, the only reason we are able to live today, the only reason we are able to think so good are, is because God gave it to us. Honey, the only reason I'm safe today is because God watched over me. Honey, I could have an accident going home tonight. But honey, I believe sometimes God should put your arm around His people and He protect them. Honey, He do work bad things happen to us. You know, I used to say, I can't understand how come God work bad things happen to good people. Honey, I know that now. He don't. Because the Bible says ain't none good. Honey, Jesus said ain't none good except the Father. Honey, let me tell you something, we ain't none good. The only good thing about me, what God done for me on my inside, He saved my soul. He cleaned that up. And honey, He sealed that up. And honey, it's going to be perfect and it go back to God. Honey, let me tell you something, you're going to see the blood of Jesus Christ. Honey, clean my soul up. I thank God for that tonight. I thank God for the opportunity to be here. I thank you come over here tonight. I may never get a preach again. I don't know. Honey, this may be the last sermon I ever preach. If it is, I hope God satisfy it. I hope God take this and touch somebody's heart. Not that I might get something, honey. Honey, let me tell you, God don't need nothing. You need salvation. You need God help that. And I say I don't need nothing. I need God all the time. Don't get me wrong. But let me tell you something. It ain't about me tonight. But honey, I'm saying everybody else. I'm sitting at the table, eating the food off of God's table, enjoying all the blessing. But I don't want to work for Him. But honey, we need to get to a point that we'll say, the home, the family. Honey, I love my family. Don't get me wrong. I love my family. But God more important than my family. And you say, what are you talking about, preacher? Honey, let me tell you, ain't a thing I can do about my family. I can't. If I get sick, I can't do nothing about it. But God can. If I follow God and do what God has for me to do, I breathe that He'll bless my family. I breathe that He'll watch over. And honey, He'll do the same thing for you. You know, you may say, well, I've been taught that it's just so many going to get saved. Honey, I'll tell you what my Bible said. Let me say, I don't like to read sick. I read it every time I preach, I think. But John 3:16 said, for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in Him shall not perish but have everlasting life. Honey, that whosoever, that means you. I want you to understand that. Whosoever. But also I want you to know that over in the Korean chapter, the order basically it says, whosoever. I don't know. Let me find that for you. I'll tell you, I don't want to mess you up. I don't want to say nothing wrong. Honey, I want to get this because God, this is important. Honey, I'll tell you what, a whole lot of things I do don't matter nothing. But you start in talking about God and talk about the Bible, honey, it's an important thing. Honey, it's very important. I may not be able to find this. I'll pray for me. But he ain't going to talk about over there that whosoever name that ain't found in the book of life will be cast off into the lake of fire. Honey, that whosoever mean you. If you ain't been saved by the grace of God, but let me tell you something, the sooner you get saved, God will name in a book of life in heaven. And honey, want that name there to be there forever. And honey, I want you to understand. It said, whosoever believe on me can be saved. Jesus is talking about that. Whosoever believe in the only begotten Son of God can be saved. Honey, whosoever don't believe ain't going to be cast off into a lake of fire. And you say, boy, that ain't good. You talking about that? Now, I sat down here one Sunday, and we had some people came in. We had another preacher preach that Sunday, and we had a good service. We had two raw men sitting back the house, and both were Ross. They got caught up on God, and we had another guy here. And I told them two raw men, I said, if I die today, you go to a devil horror. And honey, the other guy got mad. He told me, he said, you are not telling nobody going to die and go to a horror. But let me tell you, that's the truth. Honey, the truth is the truth. Honey, I didn't make it that way. It's up to you. It ain't up to me who's going to die and go to a horror. It's up to you. You can call up on God. You have to call up on Him. You have to ask Him. You know, over Matthew, the 7th chapter and the 7th verse, say, ask and it shall be given you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. Honey, you better knock on the door. And Jesus said, I am the door. Honey, Jesus is the only way you can get to heaven today. It's been that way all the way down through time. There ain't no other way to get there. You say, well, I don't believe in Jesus. Well, if you don't believe in Jesus, if you don't never call upon Him for salvation, you're going to die and go to a devil horror. I hope and pray that you'll make peace at God. How you say, had the opportunity. I hope God bless you more than He blessed me. I thank God for ever preach somebody that I got that sang and preach the truth. Honey, I tell you what, I hope and pray that God bless them. I hope that God go with every place they go. Honey, and bless them. And you say, don't you want me to bless you? I tell you what. Honey, I got to a point I know for God to bless them than bless me. Because honey, God always blessed me. He gave me 70 orders to live on this earth. Gave me a bunch of grandkids, certain grandkids, and everyone had been saved by the grace of God. Got some other certain great grandkids, and honey, I'm depending on God to save them too. I may not be here, and they get old enough to get saved, but God said be here as time go on, and honey, He able to save them. Ain't a thing I can do. I can't save nobody. Honey, if you talk to a preacher to tell you that he can save you, honey, you better stay away from him. Honey, you better get far away from him. I'll tell you what he is. He a devil. That's all he is. Trying to deceive you. Honey, there's a whole lot of people being deceived today. Honey, I pray they're being deceived on bus. I pray people being so deceived today. Honey, I hope and pray that God bless you. I hope that God take this message and touch my heart. Honey, I thought about it a whole lot of time and I can't help it. I guess we all think about this. Honey, we at preaching on the video, we at on the organ, and we preaching what we do ain't good. Honey, we don't need to worry about that. We need to do our best to do what God has for us to do, or let God take care of everything else. Because God the one that gets done glory for everything. If I came down here tonight and 10 people got saved, it ain't got a thing to do with me. Only thing is, I got a blessing because he got saved. I got to see it come up. Honey, I remember one time down here we had one organ, bad dad. Honey, she went up and came up and said, I've been saved by the grace of God. Honey, that lay blessing. But I didn't have nothing to do with it. Didn't nobody else have nothing to do with it. God the one that saved her. God the one that get the increase in that. And God get all the honor and glory. You may say, oh, preacher, honey, why can God get all the honor and glory? Because he made everything. Honey, God a good God. Honey, God do everything perfect. Honey, we mess everything up. That had come other things a mess today. Because we depend upon ourselves more than we depend upon God. Let me tell you, we ought to depend upon God for everything. For the home that we got, the food that we got, it all come from God. And you say, well, I ain't got much. I tell you what, you better off not have much and have God in your heart than you are to have the whole world. The Bible says he gained the whole world and raised his soul. What we give and it's same for it. Let me tell you something. You may have been mansion today. You may have a bank full of money. But if you ain't got salvation, honey, you die, you ain't got nothing. You'll be cast into the lake of fire. Honey, let me tell you something. I want you to understand today. We are people, we think things that we don't need to think. Honey, we see somebody here that ain't got nothing. We say, boy, we feel sorry for them poor people. Then we see somebody here that got everything. And we say, boy, I wish I had some of that. Honey, let me tell you something. They die. Boy, they go to the same place. They go back to the dust. Honey, let me tell you, that soul go back to God. If it been saved by the grace of God, he said, come on home. If it ain't, he say, depart from me, I'll never know you. Honey, let me tell you something. Honey, God been good to me. And I thank God for the opportunity to be here tonight. You know, I sit here thanking him and saying here thanking him ain't go. Honey, I guess the first time I ever volunteered to go fast. But honey, it been on my heart all day. How good God been to me. And you say, well, how good I been. Honey, everything I got, he gave it to me. Honey, he protect everything I got, and he watch over me. Honey, that's a big God today. Honey, he a big God. He able to do all things. Honey, you may be sitting there somewhere tonight. You may never heard enough of this. I tell you what I do. You may not believe my report, but honey, you start in hunting for God. Honey, I believe a man gets success. And he started hunting for God. God would make the way for him to fail. You know, I think about Caniga. Oh, well, Bible, honey. He hunting for God. He ought to know God. And God sent Peter to him. Honey, I think about the other day. Ain't been too long ago. That guy over there hunting for God. Honey, he sent somebody to preach the gospel to him, and he got saved. Thank God for that. That's the God I serve. Honey, I serve a God today that is able to do all things. May God bless each and every one. That be my message.